My wife's here. Maddie King.
I'm here.
Ooh.
Guys, this is the last week of live stream, and so I'm going to do the standard reading of names. Glass Studios, Emma Wallace. Margie's here. Nathan Shoemaker of Bread of Life fame is here. And guys, I don't know if you've heard, if you have the gram, we've got an epic video dropping for our last live stream, maybe ever. You know, or until, you know, COVID-20 hits, whatever. But we're shutting it down.
COVID-20.
And we're excited for many, many reasons, not least of which being that because summer's coming, and as we're moving through phases, we're going to actually get to gather together again as a church starting March 31st on Sunday mornings. We'll get to worship together. We're not going to have small groups on Sunday mornings, but we'll at least be able to gather here, worship together. As one body. We're excited about that. And starting next Wednesday, the 27th, we've got our summer Bible study starting, and we're going to be here on campus. We're going to have our groups in different spots all across the campus, so we'll be meeting in small groups to make sure that we're just staying safe and keeping protocols. It's going to be a great summer, so you want to be a part of that. And we're also going to be starting, we actually pushed it back to Monday, reading together Luke and Acts. One chapter a day, 52 days, 5 days a week, and we're going to do that journey, reading God's Word together.
Worth a round of
Get
applause.
some
Round of applause for the Word of God.
Round of
Yeah.
applause for Susan.
And now that I've given some people the chance to join, let's go ahead and get rolling. And we're starting today with a very special game. Before we do, just a reminder for everybody on Instagram, don't forget to watch this week's message after the live stream ends. You can go to IGTV and click that little logo, or you can check it out on YouTube. But without further ado, America's favorite dress-up game, Who Wore It Best?
Who?
All right, and we're going to have some special guests with us.
Ooh.
And let's see if we can go ahead and bring them out. Ladies and gentlemen, da-da-da-da. You can't hear, but the studio audience is just going crazy with applause. We've got with us today the one and only... oh, never mind. We lost you. We got you back. Oh, and Dakota's here. So we got Dakota. We've got Maddie. We've got Hayden. We've got Cora. We've got Audrey. And you're all muted. I don't know if you did that or I did that. I'm going to go through.
You can unmute.
Unmute.
There he is.
I'm going to start a group chat. I hear you. I hear you. Hey, girl.
What about me?
Everybody's
We're here
unmuted.
too.
We got everybody on the screen.
Peyton
How y'all
David said,
doing?
That's my brother. It is
It
her
is.
brother.
You are right.
I am doing really
1
good.
point for Peyton. She got the first one right. Maddie, how are you doing?
I'm good.
What's been the best part of quarantine?
Getting to relax more.
I like it. What about you, Hayden? Best part of quarantine?
The free time I get to hang out with my friends.
Not. Whoa. Uh-oh.
6 feet apart.
Go
I
to.
hope.
Yeah. And Dakota, what's been the best part of quarantine for you?
More time to devote to hobbies.
Time to devote to hobbies. Like roasting my coffee beans? No, I'm just kidding. And Cora and Audrey, what has been your best favorite part of the last 2 months?
Bonfires and bike rides.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Bonfires
Nice.
and bike rides are
Those are good
awesome.
The
things.
Barnwell
So,
family album that's coming out.
Our
this year.
contestants know what a little of what's about to happen, but to let you guys know, we're going to play a game called Who Wore It Best. The way you play Who Wore It Best is quite simple. We're going to give you a task. We're going to give you a costume, and you have to go create that costume out of your closet. You got 30 seconds to do it. Once 30 seconds is up, we're going to turn the screens back on, and the person with the best costume wins. Are you guys ready? Ready? All right, I think we're ready. So we have a 30-second timer. Caleb, what's their first feat?
Your first feat or costume
It's
is
a foot.
chef.
Okay, first one to come back to the chef. 3, 2, 1,
The
go. All right, not the first. Excuse me. The best.
The
First
best.
shove
The
Last.
best.
I'm curious
chef.
to see what we've
Yeah,
got on this one.
You know, it depends
Uh-huh.
on what kind of chef.
Yeah, there's a
You
lot of
know,
variables
true.
here for sure.
Yeah, leave the sound on. I like to know what we're working. I like to, maybe there
Yeah.
might be some stress in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Wait until you hear a
Yeah.
thud and somebody
Or you
cry.
hear a crashing sound.
Yeah, that's
I was just
hilarious
thinking-
too.
Oh, we got 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1. That was
That
Worst
is it.
seconds.
countdown
All right,
ever.
let's see
Countdown
what you got.
All right,
Uh,
guys.
All right, let's see.
It's the first round, so I'm going to give you a little. I hear some
Russells.
Russell, so I'll give you the last few seconds, and here we go.
All right. Oh.
Whoa!
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh!
All right. We've got.
It looks like the guy from Ratatouille.
That's exactly
We've
what
got
it is.
Linguini from Ratatouille.
Yeah.
And
We've got Jason Mraz. In the
I was
Okay.
going to say he's a street taco artist.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, so if you're on Instagram, you're going to help us, or Facebook
Yep.
or YouTube. You can vote on who you think is the best one, but we'll go down the line. I'm not going to vote because I feel like I'm a little partial to a couple of our contestants.
Your little parcel.
I'm a little partial.
Just a tiny one.
Yeah.
Good times.
Okay, Caleb.
All right. We have some. All right. So I'm going to narrow it down to 2 for me. You know, I think the chef's hat is always a nice touch. I know not everyone is accessible to a chef's hat. Sometimes, you know, you got to go with a chef's fedora. But I see 2 chef's hats here. We have Linguini, and we have both a waitress
Yeah.
And the
a
chef.
chef.
Yeah.
And I think that both of those just go over the
So
top.
the actual point, the Barnwell Girls have a full cast of characters.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, she did the waitress hand.
Uh-huh.
That's, you know,
Yep.
that's nice. Dakota, do a waitress hand for us.
No.
Matt, oh, that's
But he's got the
Matt,
wooden
could you do a
spoon.
waitress
He's
hand
either
for us?
a really good waiter or confused.
No, she can't. All right.
Okay.
All right, Boz, what do you think?
Ooh, you know, I like that there's the waitress involved as well. But Dakota brought out the wow factor with the wooden spoon. I mean, he had to go to 2 separate rooms
That's true.
and come back fully ready.
So you got Dakota.
I'm going
Instagram
Dakota.
is overwhelmingly voting for
Yeah.
Linguini on this one.
But I'm going to tell my girls that they won.
Yes, good job, Cora and Audrey. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Cameron Champine's here. What's up?
All right.
All righty. So, great job. Ready for round 2.
Round 2.
Double bonus points.
Boz, you want to pick this one?
I would love to.
All right.
Just because of the background.
Yes.
To see how well people do with a soldier.
All
or
right,
someone in
soldier.
the military.
Let's see your best
Military.
soldier boy or girl. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, Cora looked nervous on the soldier end.
All right, we're going to exit. We're going to
All
hide
right,
them.
timer's going.
All righty.
You know,
I wonder what they're cooking
might
up.
give them, you know, 35.
Yeah, this
40.
one might take a second.
It's
you know, but
What are extra points for real firearms? What's the?
I
If
don't
my,
condone that.
If my daughter walks out with a firearm, we're in trouble. I will
Doug's
be
gotta
leaving
go.
the live stream
He'll have to
immediately.
go. We'll finish the live stream up.
Yeah, I've seen what damage she can do with a crayon. I don't want to know what she can do.
She whittling a crayon down.
Yeah.
Just
It's like
5 seconds.
Yeah. It's like, what happened to the
4,
rest of the handle on my shotgun? You cut it
2,
off.
1. That is
All right,
it.
that's
right, here we
it.
go.
Oh!
You know, I like the Viking helmet.
Yeah. Let's be honest. When you're
Hey, that's camouflage though. That's a good.
okay, yeah. He's still got the wooden
You still got the
spoon.
wooden spoon ready
Yeah.
to cook
Now,
it. any
Because you know
moment.
why? You know why? Because a real soldier, that's all he needs is a wooden
Exactly.
spoon. You drop a real soldier out in the wilderness with a wooden spoon. He's coming back
Golden.
with victory.
That's it.
This is like Linguini goes to the army. Is what
Yeah.
I'm feeling like.
Alrighty.
We never specified what
Era.
what era.
Right, what
So
era.
we have a Viking soldier
Or this
and a
thing.
futuristic robot
Yeah.
soldier.
Yeah.
We have
They seem
Viking
to be battling,
versus
which is nice.
robots.
I love to see the take people
yes.
people
Okay.
go through.
The camouflage is a nice touch.
It is a very
I don't
nice
see
touch.
camouflage.
Oh.
Oh wait, I see it now.
It's just floating arms.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Maddie's a floating head.
We
Okay,
have a
so
vote for Hayden. We have a vote for
one
the
vote
children.
for the children.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
A tear to my
Cora
eye.
and Audrey.
All
They have
right.
names.
Let's see. Dakota, the cut-off gloves were a nice touch. Show off the gloves there. That's yes.
Oh,
Are you even a soldier if you don't have cut-off gloves?
Also, I love that he has those. Anyway,
And Hayden, stay strapped. No, Hayden.
He
you-
says
Okay.
the one.
so I'm gonna take Miley's vote, LOL Vikings, as a vote for Cora and Audrey.
we got some more Cora and Audrey down here. I think
Cora and Audrey, I think they got
Cora
that
and
one.
Audrey take
Think
the,
Cora and
the
Audrey get
points
the
on
points.
this one. All
Good
right.
job, girls. Alrighty. So next up for our third, I'm gonna turn it back over to Caleb.
All right. Arg, you ready?
Arg,
Arg.
It was a.
you.
Your challenge is
foreshadowing people.
the pirate
All
theme.
right.
So you have 40 seconds this time. That way, if you have a hook hand, you can get it. But let's get some pirate-themed costumes going.
All right, and let's be honest. What we've learned today is that if you're playing a dress-up competition and you are 4 or 6 years old, you have an advantage.
That's true.
You know, you have the resources, and
Now, while we're doing this, let's go ahead and rank every Pirates of the Caribbean movie by cinematography. So, Vaj, you go first.
I don't even know all of them. I gotta go with the Black Pearl, man. The first one.
Black Pearl.
Yeah, it's a good one.
it
Right?
goes 1, 3.
On Stranger Tides is the second? Wow.
What are you gonna put?
I don't know. I only know On Stranger Tides. That's the only actual name I know
1,
for
3, the random sequel, and then 2, because 2 was weird. It was really trippy.
Kids
And then,
Manchester
weirdly
was
enough,
weird.
The Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how that one.
I would
ended
put
up
that
in
over number 2, actually.
All right,
I think it's about that time.
is
Time
up.
is up.
Yes.
So, are
Luke Andre
you
foreshadowing,
ready?
he said, if I had a webcam. Yes, Luke Andre was this close to being a contestant.
Alrighty.
Oh, wow.
Wow!
I love the fact that they don't have an eye patch,
I love
but
the Hawaiian.
You know,
they're still winking.
He put a
Yes.
shark hat on.
This is good.
Oh.
Now, the eye patch is a nice touch.
It is.
I love that the girls are just closing one eye.
Yes.
I love the Hawaiian shirt. He's a different kind of pirate.
Yeah,
He's the one that likes to
I'm
chill out.
he's one of the ones who's on a cruise ship, and then he's like, something's.
You know
I just
what?
wanna
I'm
say,
taking over.
I
Mutiny
love
time.
that Dakota is like in this.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
appreciate
appreciate. Love
Also,
it.
we
Nothing
can't
but respect.
not acknowledge the shark that we have in the corner here.
We gotta be
Yeah.
You know,
careful.
the pirates of the sea, as I like to call sharks.
But I mean, you've got the eye patch and a bandana around
Yes, that's
the hand. That's a
pretty
pretty
good.
good one.
I agree.
like
And
it.
the owl, a sea owl in the background. That's a nice touch.
It is good. Yeah,
Yeah.
sea owl.
Alrighty.
Arr.
So, Instagram, what do you have to say?
We got a vote for Maddie. a
I'm
vote
gonna
for
choose
Dakota.
Maddie as well.
I'm actually gonna vote for Maddie as well.
So that's 3 for Maddie, 1 for Dakota.
It's 3 for Maddie, 1 for Dakota.
Alrighty.
I think
I'm
Maddie
voting for my
gets it.
girls, but my
Oh.
vote doesn't count. So.
Oh,
Alrighty. Well,
Alrighty.
great job. I think really we've got a 3-way tie at this point.
we do.
Right.
I think we
Even though I
gotta go.
promised my girls double bonus points, but they're gonna have to split them in half. So.
Fair enough.
All right, 3-way tie. Yes, I
Three-way
know.
tie.
We wanna.
And all right, my computer's blowing up for some reason.
Oh, interesting. A lot of feedback.
Alrighty, so I think we do one more tiebreaker.
Yes, a tiebreaker.
Actually, let's do double points on this one. Maybe Hayden can.
Yeah. Let's. All right. Double points.
Yeah, I mean,
Rod,
because
Yeah.
E for effort with
rated E for everyone.
Rated
yes.
E for everyone.
Those are
All
the
right,
GameCube
let's
games I've
do
watched
this.
for.
Just it's our last live stream. Let's have a little fun with this one, okay? I think we need to try and figure out who can look like Doug the best.
Ooh, yes.
I like that. 40 seconds on the timer.
Maddie, if you have maybe a wrist thing that you can wear,
Yeah.
you would be
Any-
killer Doug right now.
Yeah.
She already has one
any
on.
braces.
She's already
Any
getting
braces.
it.
Doug look like?
I'm not here. You're staring at my
Go to,
face.
I
go
bet
to the frame.
I'm
that
I'm
your
Doug.
dad
The girls
has
are
in
going
the
to come back
office.
in wearing a CrossFit shirt. The girls are going to come back in wearing a CrossFit
Yes, that's.
shirt.
Yeah, I do think we gave an
They don't-
unfair advantage to the people who
I think so
have
too,
access
but you know,
to Doug's
it's okay.
closet.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. They don't have any CrossFit shirts, so
Doug actually keeps all of his CrossFit shirts on hangers in his car.
they're just gonna come in wheeling a barbell. I was like impressed.
Oh,
Good.
I don't have.
Okay.
Struggling.
Sorry.
Struggling. 5 seconds.
Well, let's
Three.
give him 10 seconds. Let's give him.
Okay, a
It's
couple
a
extra
tough-
seconds.
I'm
It's
a
tough one.
hard-
I'm hoping for a drawn-on beard, maybe. I don't
Hey.
know.
We'll see.
You know, one year Avery Chenault did an impression of me during a little talent show, and actually drew tattoos on her wrist, or on her
Yeah.
arms. It was pretty good.
Biceps.
Also,
Yeah,
tattoos
pretty
are
solid.
evil. They're in the Bible. It's in the Bible, so don't do that.
All right, let's go ahead and
All right.
see what you guys are working with here.
Someone's already voted for Dakota. I think it looks like.
Yeah, that seems
Luke,
unfair.
that doesn't count.
Luke Andre
Boo, Luke.
is not going to be allowed to vote on any.
Okay. All right.
we
See
do.
what we got.
See there?
Yes.
Oh, the fellowship
Alrighty.
shirt's good. Oh, she brought the weight out.
CrossFit, hats.
Yes. Oh, peace? Yeah, the classic Doug
do a lot
Barbell.
of
He does love a good peace sign.
It's good.
Yes. Dakota is working out
he's
with
working
the
out with the
description. That's
word.
good.
Yeah.
Flexing both his
Maddie's
mind and his body.
dumbbell is way too small, so disqualified.
A fellowship shirt, Doug.
I like the fellowship
Doug,
shirt.
That's almost the exact same shirt you're wearing right now. That's pretty good.
Ooh.
From the guy that screamed, "What does Doug look like?" I love that he literally just was like, "Actually, I'll just do exactly what he looks like right now."
Oh man.
I think those are all great.
Yes.
Oh, I think
I
they're
love them
all
all.
good.
All right, now this is gonna be what really decides it here. I need to hear a vocal impression of Doug from each of you.
Okay, so let's go in alphabetical order. Starting
Audrey,
with.
Corn Audrey.
Well, no, let's not. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Audrey, let's hear. Give your impression of me. What do I sound like?
Give my impression to me. What do I sound like?
Oh! Incredible. Incredible. All right, let's go with Dakota next if we're sticking with this alphabetical order.
Rose, obey your mom. No, mom said.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's a good one.
Okay, now we're ready for Dakota.
It's CrossFit time.
I say that every morning when I wake
That's
up.
his catchphrase. People don't realize that. That's all he says.
All right,
That's funny.
Hayden.
I gotta unmute him. There we go.
This is about to be one of the worst impressions of you, because I cannot do impressions of anybody.
Okay.
Welcome, FSM people.
That's very
Yeah.
It's
good.
pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
That was good. That was good.
Maddie, last but not least.
Let's go CrossFit.
That's
Let's
good.
go CrossFit.
Yeah.
He says it just like that too, real happy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's go CrossFit. All right, what do
Oh.
you guys think?
I'm gonna go with. Oh, look at that smile. I'm
See-
gonna have to go with Cora and Audrey
See-
because Audrey mocked you, and that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Cora, obey your parents.
Yeah,
It's not
that
just
was spot on.
biblical rule.
That was spot
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
I
that was
too.
good.
All right, it
am
sounds
going
like-
for Cora and Audrey.
And no bias included, but the
No.
girls have won it. Good job, girls. You won the
Yes, well
competition.
done,
Thanks to
everybody.
all
Thank
of our
you all.
contestants.
Thank you,
You are
Maddie.
all
Thank
awesome.
you, Dakota.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Man.
What a great time.
Yes. In that meeting.
And what great
I
people.
hope that
Some of
doesn't
my
affect us
favorites.
later.
Oh yes.
I don't think it will. Lord willing.
Wow.
Well, hey guys, it's so much fun. Loved hanging out. Just a quick reminder, we got small groups coming up at 6 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a big debut coming right before that as well. And don't forget the sermon will be streaming on Facebook and YouTube. If you're on Instagram, you can go to our IGTV and watch it. And I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Caleb, and we're going to invite a couple friends
Yeah.
on to hang out.
All right, around the studio audience is excited. Boz, you're gonna host this one. Please join us.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah, come on in.
All right, we are going to go ahead and play another game, okay? And so this is obviously for the people sitting right here, and then those of you watching the live stream, please bring in your answers. But this game, here you go, and here you go. I am not going to be able to play because I have access to all the answers. No cheating. Kaylee, because you're right here. Okay, I'm going to do this. Ooh, that works right there. Okay. This game is going to be fun. All right, this game is called Savage Tweets. Now, if you've got a Twitter account or you've seen some of these pictures online of some of these savage tweets out there, you're going to know that recently Wendy's Twitter account has been upping its game, but some of the tweets are so savage. Can you tell which are real and which are fake? All right, so I'm going to put a tweet up on the screen, and you have to tell me if you think it's real, Wendy's tweeted it, or if it's fake, somebody else might have, or it's just made up. Again, if you're on Instagram, if you are on Facebook or YouTube, also go ahead and comment what you guys think too. So let's do it. First one. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this.
I hate Wendy's, so this is gonna be easy.
See, I like
I love
Wendy's.
Wendy's.
I think they've got a great
Burgers should be round, people.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. This is the user at Wendy's. Can you find me the nearest McDonald's? Did Wendy's say picture of a trash can? Okay. Did they just put a picture of a trash can? All right. Take a second.
This is a yes or no,
Is
right?
it real? Yeah, you can
Let's
put
say- let's
real
go
or
with
fake.
real or fake. I
Real
like
or
that, yeah.
fake. And we're gonna go with real or fake. Is that a real tweet from them, or is that fake? All right. So again, I could see that though, right? What do you think? Go ahead. You can reveal real.
All right, I said real, and then
And
I said
he-
real savage.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what, guys? You're right. It was real
Yes.
savage of Wendy's.
Wow.
Yeah, picture of a trash
Only
can.
8,000 retweets.
Only 8,000?
Seems unfair.
I don't know, man. I got 2 on the tweet I posted in like 2011.
Where's the beef? It's on Twitter.
All right, here we go.
Twitter beef.
This is from McDonald's. Okay, today we've announced that by mid-2018, all our quarter pounder burgers at the majority of our restaurants will be cooked with fresh beef. Wendy's replies at McDonald's. So you'll still use frozen beef in most all your burgers and all your restaurants? Asking for a friend. Ooh, that does sound fairly savage. But was it real or was it fake? That's what we're trying to figure out. But you've got an answer locked in. Go ahead and let me know. Ooh, real. We got fake, and we've got fake.
I'm saying fake. That just feels, mean-spirited. That doesn't even seem like they're
a little
trying
bit.
to...
Yeah. Not pulling any punches, right?
No, yeah.
But we do know that Wendy's does not hold back any punches. That is a real
Wow.
tweet.
Wow.
My goodness, that is, ooh.
Ronald, how do you respond?
Probably not well, right? He's been savaged.
Sad clown. That's how you get the Joker movie. All right.
All right, user says, should I choose Wendy's or Burger King for dinner? Valid question. You weighing your options. So does Wendy's say, would you rather go to Six Flags or Disney World? Ooh.
I really want that to be real.
Yeah. We think it's real or fake. My goodness. Would you rather go to Six Flags or Disney World? Let me ask you that. Would you rather go to Six Flags or
Disney World? Well, neither right now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Disney World usually, yeah.
Yeah. You think it's fake.
I think it's fake.
You think it's fake, and you think it's fake. That's 3 fakes. You're right. That was a
Ah.
fake tweet. All right. What about you? Disney World or Six Flags?
Disney. Six Flags.
Six Flags. It's more fun, more thrill park. Like, there's an amusement park where you're just having a good time, and then there's like, the fun theme park. Right? That's the way I see it. All right, here we go. From McDonald's, Black Friday, and then they needed a copy and link. Okay. The Wendy's retweets with that. When the tweets are as broken as the ice cream machine. Okay, so what happens here is McDonald's puts Black Friday, and then they meant to put a link in there for people to click on. I imagine for a coupon of sorts. And so Wendy's comes back and says, when the tweets are as broken as the ice cream machine. Ooh, that's savage. Okay, is that real or fake?
That's real.
Oh, real. Real and real. That is, in fact, real.
Yes.
Man, I don't know. Do you guys ever have problems with the McDonald's ice cream machine not working?
Ice cream machine broke. Manager machine broke.
Manager machine?
All of it.
Yeah, all the time.
Everything's broke.
I went to Wendy's like a week and a half ago and tried to order something, but they were out of hamburgers, fries, and chicken.
Oh, wow.
So you couldn't order anything.
That's just messed up.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another one. What's more festive than eating Waffle House on Christmas? Okay, that's from Waffle House. And then Wendy's comes back and says, being home with your family. Ooh, savagery. What's more festive than eating Waffle House on Christmas? Being home with your family. Is that real or fake? I got real over here, real over here.
Saying fake.
And I got fake over here. It is surprisingly fake.
Whew.
I thought that was it right there. All right, so let's do a score recap. Susan, Hannah, whatever you want to call yourself, how many have you gotten correct?
I've missed one.
Missed 1. Okay,
don't know
out of
how
5, so it's
many.
4 out of 5. What about you?
I think I've missed 2.
Okay, so we've got 3 out of 5.
I'm 4 out of 5 as well.
Okay, so I think
boss.
we go into a tiebreaker.
I think so.
Okay, and then we're going to go right into the next game here. So unfortunately, Kaylee, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But you could still play.
Okay.
So
Still
we're gonna
play.
need you for the next
Sounds
game.
good.
All right, here we go. Tiebreaker. It's going to be a good one. Burger King writes 5 for $4 because 5 is better than 4. So user says, at Wendy's, what are you firing back? And Wendy's writes back, edible food. Oh, savage. Oh, that is crazy savage. All right.
I'm saying that's for real.
For real.
That's
It
gotta be
was, in
real.
fact, for real. Look
Well,
at that.
I hate to be a sore loser, but I do think Hannah got it written down first.
I was going to say, we could do one more, but if you are willing
No,
to lay down your
I
whiteboard.
I will fall on my sword.
Oh, that's nice of you, Caleb.
I know.
First off, let's give a round of applause for Caleb and his humility.
Thank you.
Way to go.
There's
Now
not-
let's give it up for Susan for being our winner. All right. That was a little bit louder. I loved it. All right. Now that's a good one. I love these savage tweets that we see. It's always a ton of fun. And so
Yes.
with that, Caleb, you want to swap spots?
Well, actually, do you mind running the slides while I
no,
host from over here?
absolutely
That'd be
not. I'd
perfect.
love to. Let's do it.
This final game right here is going to take some involvement from you guys on the live stream. So what's going to happen is we're going to play a game called MQ because HQ was already taken. So maybe you guys remember HQ and how it worked. Essentially, you could win awesome prizes if you made it all the way to the final round of trivia. So here's how we're going to play. A trivia question is going to come on the screen. The first 5 people to answer correctly will move on to the second round. A second trivia question will come up. The first 3 people to answer in the comments correctly will move on to the final round where one person will win an awesome undisclosed prize.
I like it. Undisclosed.
Yes. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's test this lag out
Test
a
the
little
round.
bit.
Yeah, test the round.
This
I love
one's
it.
a test round. It doesn't count. Everyone, submit your answers. The question is, when you freeze water, you get what? Granite, ice, or steam?
I don't know. I forgot. Like
Yeah.
4th grade science.
I'm scared.
Susan said ice, reluctantly. Let's see. Glass Studios said Ive, but ice is what they meant.
Ive is
Peyton
wrong.
Evans said ice. Miley Reagan said ice. Glass Studios said Ive, all caps again.
Maddie Beck says ice
Ice, we're
on
still
Facebook.
coming in. Ice, yes. All right, so that was a practice round.
It's ice.
You ice, baby, or if you're Jackson Glass, Ive, baby. Either way, it is correct. Doug has found another way to annoy me on the live stream. Incredible. The man has no bad talents. It made no sense. All right. So with that being said, this one's for all the
Oh,
marbles.
it's funny.
And
Okay.
if I don't get sniped, we're gonna figure this out.
Right.
All right.
Those pranks are good. All right.
First question.
Here we go.
Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, or Michael Jackson?
First 5.
First 5. I'm going to start writing them down here. Susan.
Job showing
Susan
people
says
answers.
George
I love
Washington.
it. Hopefully they know this though.
All right, let's see. First, Jackson Glass,
Way to go.
Sam Glass,
All right.
Margie,
Okay.
Julie Barnwell, and Miley Reagan.
That's
Those
it.
are our 5.
Maddie. Oh, I don't
Oh,
know. I don't know
so
how
close.
fast it was. We're looking at 2.
I think. Well, let's do 6 then.
let's
do
put
6.
her in. Let's
So
put
we
her
got
in.
Jackson, Sam, Miley, Julie, Margie.
Okay.
And
Maddie.
Maddie.
That's it.
Man, whew, those M names.
I know.
All right.
Blah, blah,
so, your remember, only 3 of you get to move on to this next
Woo,
round.
It's gonna be tough.
Let's go to a little further down the
Oh,
list.
this
Make
is
it
a
a little
good
more
one.
difficult.
I think
All
this
right,
is a good
let's
one,
throw
yeah.
it on.
All right, here we go.
What year was the Lego company founded?
No
Was it
Google.
1950. No Google. 1956, 1973, or 1932? The correct answer is. Make sure. This is the first.
What do you mean?
Oh, perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So let's see. What do we have? Let's watch the thing. Let's see. 1932. Is that the correct answer?
1932 is the correct
All
answer.
right, Jackson Glass moves on. Julie Barnwell moves on. And Margie moves on.
Ooh, there you go.
All righty.
Love it.
We have Jackson Glass, Julie Barnwell, and Margie. All right.
Ooh,
So,
that one's tough. All
a
right,
tough
we ready?
one. Let's go with
oh,
a tough
yeah,
one.
let's do
do
it.
First 2.
Oh, I love
First
it. First 2.
Move on.
Love it.
All
First
right.
2. Are we ready?
I'm ready. We're ready.
Here we go.
Ascorbic acid is another name for which vitamin? Vitamin C, vitamin B3, or vitamin D? All right.
Ooh, it's a good one. It's tough.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
see. Watching it. Let's see.
Secret.
We got Jackson, Julie, and Margie here. Julie says vitamin C.
Ooh,
Is that correct?
that is correct.
That is correct. Julie moves on. Glass Studios barely beats Margie. All right.
Ooh, all right. This is it.
Down to the final 2. This question is hard, and it's for all the marbles.
It's got to be the first one in with the right
first
answer.
one in with the right answer. If you both get it wrong, no one gets a prize because that's MQ.
That's it.
That's how it works.
That's it. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
All right. Who spoke the first time in a Bugs Bunny cartoon? Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny, or Doc? The correct answer is... All right, let's see here. I'm watching. We'll see who comes in first.
Yeah.
Doc is what Glass Studio said. Is that the correct
Ooh,
answer?
That is not the correct
It's
answer.
not the correct answer. So Julie also said Doc.
That is not the correct answer.
All right, let's
Wah,
see. It's not the
wah,
correct
wah,
answer. Let's go ahead.
wah.
Both of you guys can have another chance to write in. We'll see if one of you can get it right based off of that. Oh, Julie Barnwell said bugs! Exclamation mark.
That is not correct.
It's not the correct answer. Jackson Glass has a chance to weigh in, win it all. He sends a laughing emoji. Jackson, can you pull it off? In 5, 4,
I know it's been on.
3, 2, 1. It's on the screen, Jackson. You did not get it in time.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He said Roadrunner after I said it. I'm sorry,
so
Jackson.
sorry, no
That's
prize.
$100,000 we were going to give away. It was
Man,
a
I
big
know.
deal, but it's okay. You'll fund your studio some other way.
That's right.
That's okay. Don't give up, Jackson.
All right. Well, that was MQ.
That was
That was a
MQ.
lot of fun. Give it
Yeah.
up for Hannah and Kaylee playing with us, and we're going to welcome back our good friend, Mr. Doug Barnwell.
All right, guys. We took some time. We prepared a little montage of the last few weeks, some of the highlights of just the live stream, the warm moments, the fun that we shared, the things that we said that we probably shouldn't have, and then Landon, the video guy, deleted it. So we don't have that for you, but we have something that's almost as good, which is the world premiere debut featurette of Bread of Life featuring Nathan Shoemaker, but performed entirely with kids' instruments. So stay tuned for that. If you're on Instagram, we're about to drop that here in just a second on our IGTV and our story. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, it'll stream, and then we'll head into the sermon. After the sermon, we'll be doing our small groups at 6 o'clock on Zoom. So don't forget about that. We're going to be at FBC Stumin/Zoom. We got the meeting ID if you need any info. Basically, if you're watching this live stream, I think you know how to get on. So we'll see you there. It's been a pleasure, but we're excited to see you in person next Wednesday, starting at 6 o'clock, 6 to 8 here on campus. I'm going to go run real quick and get ready to preach. So enjoy this quick video now.
Bread of life, won't you fill me up with your perfect love? Come and fill me up. Bread of life, I want more of you. Singing all your truth here into my life. I want better. I want worse. I want any hunger. Jesus is the bread of life. I want worse. I want any hunger. Jesus is the bread of life. Bread of life. Come on. Won't you fill me up with your perfect love? Come and fill me up. Fill me up now. Bread of life. I want more of you. Speaking all your truth here into my life.
What is up, FSM? I can't believe that this is the last week of our live stream. It's week 9, the final week of our New Habits series, where we've been going through all these different spiritual disciplines and just talking about tools that we have from God's Word to help us grow in our relationship with Him. And I hope if there's nothing else that you take away from this series, it's the reality that relationship requires discipline. The same is true in our relationship with God as it is with our relationship with other people. I mean, just think about your relationships with your friends. You know, it requires discipline. You've got to be intentional, whether it's making sure that their birthday is on your calendar, making sure that you're reaching out to them, planning to hang out, all those different things that we do when we're intentional in our relationships, that is discipline. And the same is true, once again, in our relationship with God, that we're disciplined, but the goal in that is that we can know him better and have a closer relationship with him. And so as we come to the close of this series, I want to just take a little brief look at one passage where Jesus talks about how we relate to God. It's in the Gospels, and it's actually called the greatest commandment. There's this scene in Mark 12 where an expert in the law is trying to trip up Jesus, and so he asks him this question. He says, "What is the greatest commandment?" And Jesus kind of gives him a twofold answer, but we're going to look at the first part of that right now. In that exchange, in Mark 12, starting in verse 29, it says, Jesus answered, "The most important is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength." Now let's just think about that for a second. This is how we love God. We've talked about this over the last few weeks. How do we love God with our heart? Well, that is the essence of worship. It is our hearts beating with God's heart. It is a deep desire to know him, an affection for him. That's what worship looks like. You know, we might also think about loving God with our soul as simply just our entirety. So every aspect of our being, all of our life, we use that to love God. I think one of the easiest things for some people is to love God with our strength. I mean, we love God with our hands. It's the things that we do. It's the service that we do. It's the spiritual gifts that he's given us that we then use to honor him. But what does it look like to love God with your mind? I mean, just think about that. And I'm afraid as we start to talk about this, that this might sound a little nerdy when we talk about loving God with our mind, but there is really a discipline to learning, and learning is a key to loving God. You see, we love God through learning. And learning is not just for the nerdy. I mean, there's some cool nerds out there too, right? You think about Steve Jobs. The reason that we have iPhones in our pocket and MacBooks and lots of things is because he had a real smart guy, learned a lot, and used that to make a difference in the world. Kind of the current guy on the scene is Elon Musk, right? You know, the guy that we associate with SpaceX, with Tesla, a smart guy, a learned guy. Albert Einstein, maybe he's not cool. He may just be a nerd. But, I mean, he's one of those guys, like, you know who he is. I know who he is. And it's not necessarily this idea that learning is nerdy. Learning is normal. We all have something that we love to learn. You know, it's fun to talk to some friends. You think about this quarantine and what it's done to sports right now. You know, there's no sports happening, so there's no new sports to watch. And yet ESPN has not gone off the air. You know, there's lots of stuff that you can go. You can learn about the athletes that you love, the teams that you love. I can't seem to enter a room without somebody bringing up the series on Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, and just how much they have loved to learn about the life and the history of this infamous basketball player. We all love through learning. And whether it's the things that we love, our hobbies, our interests, the things that we love to do, maybe skills that we're trying to develop, or even the people that we love. When we think about the people that we know, we learn about them, and we love others through learning. I think about every conversation I've ever had with somebody about their best friend. And just think about yours. If you think about your best friend or your closest friends, if you were going to describe them, how would you describe them? Well, we usually say, they get me, right? They know me better than anyone else knows me. You know what that means? It means they've learned you. They've spent time with you. They've gotten to know you. They've, maybe not intentionally, but they've studied you. They maybe know your likes, your dislikes. They know your quirk, your personalities, and you do the same to them. We learn each other, and it's through learning that we love. And the same's true with our relationship with God. We love God through learning. Now, there's a couple pieces to that. We know God better, right? I know when we usually say there's more to love, there's a connotation to that, but as we learn more about God, there's more of God to love. We learn more about him, and we see how amazing he is. We see what he has done in history. We see how he loves us, and it gives us more of God to love. And we also change in the process. The Apostle Paul talks about this in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. He says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." And so what we realize is as we learn about God, this supernatural thing happens where our minds are transformed. We change in the process. And this happens in all of our relationships, right? As you get to know some of your friends, right? Or even some of your mentors, people in your life, and you start to realize the things that they do, you learn more about yourself and what you can do. I think about a friend of mine from high school. His name was DJ, and I had spent years kind of just like tinkering on the guitar. And I got to hang out with DJ a little bit, and he was just a phenomenal guitar player. And he was one of those guys that really just encouraged me to start to really learn and to improve and to grow. And I realized in that relationship that I could actually learn how to play the guitar if I just spent the time developing those skills and learning how to do it. I had another friend years later, his name was Heath, where he did the same thing for me, but it was really that godly learning. As I spent time with Heath, I realized here's a guy, he's not necessarily smarter than me, he's not better than me, he's not that much different than me, he's just taking the time to learn about God and His Word. And through that, I was changed because I had that relationship. God changes us in a supernatural way. And as God is changing us, there's this one kind of big thing that happens. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you want to be treated like a kid or like an adult? I know the answer because your answer is the same that my 4-year-old has, that my 6-year-old has. It's the same answer that I have. I don't want someone to treat me like a kid. I want to be treated like an adult. I want to be trusted with things. I want responsibility. I want freedom. Well, Scripture talks about what it looks like to be treated as an adult. Paul says this in 1 Corinthians 14:20. He says, brothers, do not be children in your thinking. And I love what he says here. He says, be infants in evil, but in your thinking be mature. So what he's saying is, if you want to be treated like an adult, you have to be an adult. And if you want to have to be an adult, you have to mature in your thinking. Now, he also says, you can be children in evil, right? So basically, you can be dumb when it comes to evil. But you need to know the truth of who God is. You need to become an adult. If you want to be treated like an adult, if you want people to look at you like an adult, then you need to learn to act and to live and to walk as an adult. And one of my pet peeves sometimes, I do it too, I am guilty just like all of us, is that we spend so much time learning garbage that we don't have room for the good stuff. You know, there's this old adage, I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times. Garbage in, garbage out. But it's true. And so often we put junk in our minds and we spend time learning about things that are either insignificant or actually aren't good for us. And then we're surprised when we don't look like grown-ups. When people don't look at us like adults, they look at us like kids because of the way that we spend our time. And as I was preparing this, I actually got this kind of out of the blue email from a friend of mine from years ago, a guy a few years younger. And I just wanted to share a portion of it because I thought it really just hit the nail on the head about what we're talking about. This is what he said in his email. Now, keep in mind, I haven't talked to this guy in maybe 8-10 years. And he just said, hey, it's been a long time, but I wanted to reach out and kind of share some things with you. And he talked about a conversation that he remembered us having so many years ago. And he said, I was talking about some trashy show I was watching and asked if you and your wife had seen it. You told me no, and you probably wouldn't because you tried not to bring that kind of garbage in your home. Now, let's be honest, I sound like a prude, I get it. He said, I thought you were so old-fashioned, and sometimes I am. Now I am married with kids, and I totally get it. I literally think about that conversation all the time. Thank you for being a positive influence at a time in my life when I was totally and utterly lost. Now, I don't share that story to brag on myself. The only reason I had that conversation with him was because a lot of people had had that conversation with me before. But we don't need to put trash in our minds. We don't need to put trash in our homes. We don't need to devote our minds to evil. We can be kids when it comes to that. We need to be mature in our thinking by pursuing good, godly learning. And so we learn from others, and there's a couple different ways. One of those ways we learn from others, quite simply, is time with them. This conversation that I had with this guy, conversations that I had with people that had influenced me, it was because I was spending time with them. Sometimes it was sitting around a bonfire, it was hanging out on the porch, it was sitting on a couch, having a conversation. Jesus actually did this. There's this kind of funny scene in Luke chapter 2 where Jesus goes missing and they can't find him for 3 whole days. And in Luke 2:46, it says, after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them, and asking them questions. Jesus was a student. Jesus learned from others. He spent time with others. And this is something that we need to do. We need people in our lives that we are learning from. But we don't just learn from others by spending time with them. We actually learn from others by reading them. And to me, this is one of the greatest gifts that we have as Christians, is that we can learn from other brothers and sisters in Christ. And some of those may have been dead for decades or even centuries. But because they recorded insights about their relationship with God, we can learn from them. We can learn from new authors that write something. And maybe there are books in your life that have changed the way you view God. Maybe there are books coming, you haven't read them yet, but God will do a work in your life through them. But He can't do anything in your life with a conversation you don't have or a book you don't read. God wants to transform you and transform your mind, and He does that by pouring into us through others. Obviously, the number one book that He does that through is this book right here, His inspired Word. But there are countless other ways out there, countless other books that God uses to do the same. There's actually this point in 2 Timothy 4:13 where Paul is in prison and he's languishing. I mean, the situation does not look good. He writes to his younger son in the faith and just kind of talking about all that he's suffering. And towards the end of that letter, as he's talking to Timothy, he says, I need you to bring me some things. So he's in prison and he says, bring me, I'll tell you, he says, when you come, bring the cloak that I left with you with Carpus at Troas. So he's cold. He wants something to wear in this cold, dank place that he's at. And then he says, also the books, and above all, the parchments. So just think about that. The Apostle Paul, one of the heroes of the faith, maybe the most well-known Christian in all the world, locked in prison. What does he want? He wants a cloak to warm his body, and he wants books to warm his heart. And I think that is a great message for us as Christians. And so as we close this very unique season, as we say goodbye to our live stream, we get ready for summer, I'm excited that we're actually going to be getting together in small groups on campus at Fellowship on Wednesdays, 6 to 8 o'clock. We'll be with some of our closest friends. Guys and girls will be separate. High school and middle school will be separate, but we'll have some time to have some fun, but also to learn together. And I'm excited because we're going to be using this book as a guide. It's called Christian Beliefs, 20 Basics Every Christian Should Know. And I hope you don't hear that and think it's all kind of elementary stuff, because we're going to go through some deep truths. We're going to be talking about heaven and hell, the Trinity, angels and demons, who God is. I mean, we're gonna wrestle with some good stuff and then just talk about how that applies to our life. And I hope that this, as we spend some time together this summer, we'll have fun, we'll have relationships, we'll have conversations that God can use to change our life, but we'll also take some time to intentionally learn about the God that loves us and wants to have a relationship with us. We're also going to be taking the summer to do a little bit of Bible reading together. And so starting tomorrow, we are going to be jumping in and we're going to do a chapter a day, 5 days a week, reading together Luke and Acts. It's actually kind of a prequel sequel. Luke writes the book of Luke. It's the gospel, the story of Jesus Christ. And then he writes the sequel to that, the story of the church and how the gospel goes forth. And all we need to do is take maybe 5 minutes a day, one chapter a day. We can take off Saturdays and Sundays, and together we can walk through this amazing story of what God did to radically change the world so that you and I could have a relationship with Him. So I'm excited about this summer and this opportunity that we have. And I want to challenge you as we close this time together to continue to learn, because it is through learning about God that we learn more of who He is. We learn to love God for who He is, and then He actually changes us to look more like His Son. And that we can then take that and we can impact others. We can shape the world around us, and we can demonstrate to the world what it looks like to know and to be known by the Creator of the world. Let's pray together. Lord, we love You, and I pray that You would help us through Your Spirit to love You well. God, that we would love You with our heart, that we would worship You in all things, God. That as we have the privilege to once again gather together here soon and to worship together, to sing songs to You, that our hearts would worship you, that we would demonstrate the love that we have for you. God, I pray that you would help us to love you with our soul, every fiber of our being, every aspect of our lives, all that we are, God, that it would look like Jesus, and people would see in our lives what you have done for us, that you would enable us through your Spirit to love us in our strength, that we use our gifts, our talents, our abilities, our time to serve you and to show the world what true love looks like. And God, I hope that you would help us. I pray that you would help us to love you with our minds, that we would spend our lives as students, that we would continue to learn more about you and your love for us and your love for the world around us. So, God, that our relationship could grow deeper. And God, I pray for every student that's been a part of this journey, this unique season, as we've talked about these spiritual disciplines, as we have socially distanced, though our hearts are still knit together, God. I pray that you would bless them. I pray that you would raise them up to be men and women who are children when it comes to evil, but mature in their thinking. And God, that through that, God, you would use them to change the world around them. We ask all these things in your Son's precious and holy name. Amen. What is up, FSM? I can't believe that this is the last week of our live stream. It's week 9, the final week of our New Habits series, where we've been going through all these different spiritual disciplines and just talking about tools that we have from God's Word to help us grow in our relationship with Him. And I hope if there's nothing else that you take away from this series, it's the reality that relationship requires discipline. The same is true in our relationship with God as it is with our relationship with other people. I mean, just think about your relationships with your friends. You know, it requires discipline. You've got to be intentional, whether it's making sure that their birthday is on your calendar, making sure that you're reaching out to them, planning to hang out, all those different things that we do when we're intentional in our relationships, that is discipline. And the same is true once again in our